Good evening, everyone. Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Shutt joining you with our intern this summer, soon-to-be meteorologist Rachel Grant. We're joining you for this edition of Nate at 8. We're discussing coming up here on this edition of Nate at 8. We're going to be tracking another beautiful day ahead tomorrow, but then the rain chances, the cloud cover come creeping back in with, as well as more of that,
Yeah, the humidity is definitely expected to only go up from here, but I guess enjoy the nice weather while it lasts. Rain is coming in for the start of our weekend.
Yeah, because tomorrow's looking very similar. If you stay inside, look outside tomorrow, it's going to be the same. But as soon as you step out, that's when the changes really occur. That heat will certainly be hitting you. So for this edition of 8 Today, again, a hot and humid Thursday returning, remaining humid then as we go through the weekend. In fact, the humidity can be even a little worse Friday through the weekend with respect to what we're going to get for tomorrow. Rain chances then hold off tomorrow. Again, very similar with respect to today. So still getting a lot of sunshine and likely no threat for any rain, but as early as Friday is when we'll watch for that chance for some showers and thunderstorms returning, and then as we go into the weekend. So first off, let's dive into that heat and that humidity. You may have already noticed for today, those temperatures and that humidity creeping up a bit. Those high temperatures climbed a little bit further into the 80s today. And when you factored in that humidity, it felt closer to and even into the 90s. That current dew point now hovering around the mid 60s. So we were for a lot of today in that more tolerable range, so 60 to 65, but you may have noticed it turning a bit more uncomfortable when it comes to that humidity for this evening, and we'll be in that range likely as we do look ahead going into tomorrow, as we'll be in that range uncomfortable. Then as we end the day tomorrow going to Friday, it's unbearably humid, and that's the range we're likely going to stay in for most, if not all, of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even into early next week. Now, we'll say, this does not look like a repeat of what we just came off of, what we saw really for the past month before we saw that finally that relief from that humidity in the beginning of this week. We do not look to repeat that because while here near term for a lot of the coming next 7 days or next week, yes, a lot of this is unbearably humid. But if we look a little further than that into the following weekend, into the start of August, it does look like we can have some relief. So there is some insight. Yes, a bearably humid stretch for a lot of the next week, but there is some insight. If we can hold off until that following weekend and at the beginning of August, we can settle into a less humid, a bit of a cooler stretch of weather. And you'll see that reflected as we look at the temperature trend over the next 10 days. You'll notice those overnight lows that will start to fall back lower 60s, near 60. There's our evidence that we'll deal with that lower humidity in place into the beginning of August. But up until that point, even a lot of 70s in the mix for an overnight low. Just warm and muggy nights ahead for a lot of the stretch over the next week. And these high temperatures, very warm to even hot. Highs will be mid-upper 80s, near 90. Certainly will tomorrow be the hottest day likely that we'll have as we go through the weekend. But early next week, it'll ramp back up closer to 90 for a high, and likely not far from that again Wednesday before we notice that further drop in temperatures and humidity then going into the latter part of next week. Hello there, Terry. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Nate at 8. Austin, good evening. You say good evening to both of us. Today was another hot day. Certainly was. Temperatures ramping up today. And the humidity is creeping up as well. I was surprised how wet the grass was at 8 this morning since I had to mow. The wind felt good when I was in the shade. And yeah, they still had, especially earlier on into the day, that humidity was low enough where if you get in that shade, still felt pretty comfortable, right? But certainly, unfortunately, as the humidity is now ramping up throughout the day and into tomorrow, unfortunately, will start to be less of the case as we look ahead going through the weekend. Shelly says, thanks, Dave. Have a great evening. Thank you there, Shelly. Thanks for joining us. And hello there, Debbie. Thank you all for tuning in with us for this edition of Nate at 8. So as we do see temperatures ramp up with the humidity, again, after tomorrow, similar story, but then once we get past tomorrow, that's when the story will change as we start to see a little of a more of an unsettled pattern coming our way, Rachel.
Yeah, so we're staying dry for now, staying clear tonight, and even as we're going into tomorrow, we're expecting around the same. We're starting off early with a little bit of cloud coverage in the morning. Might see a little bit of fog during your morning time commute, but that really won't be sticking around for long. Again, maybe a couple pop-up showers if they come up just north enough near us. You might see some tomorrow evening, but that's really not likely. It's supposed to be a beautiful day tomorrow. Then as we're going into Friday, the rain begins. We're starting to see some clouds moving in early and during our morning time commute. Then we're starting to see some pop-up showers during our lunchtime. And then we're starting to see most of it come through in the afternoon. And that's really going to stick around into Friday evening and maybe even Saturday morning too. So especially as we're going into Saturday morning. Well, it should all clear out for now, but that's not expected to be end all be all when that clears out. Some pop-up showers are expected into Saturday afternoon and evening as well. And with that, we also want to talk about the rain chances too. So Fridays and Saturdays are most likely days to see some rain coming through. But as we're heading into next week, those chances start to drop down by a lot. But again, Thursday's in the clear. So enjoy the nice weather while it's here. Even though it might be hot, enjoy the sunshine while it's here. It'll definitely be on and off in the next 3 days after Thursday.
Yeah, and that's a good point as well, Rachel, that these are not washout days, right? There's still some dry times to be had even into Friday and Saturday. That this activity this time of the year is more hit or miss in nature. It's on and off. It's not a washout, but we'll certainly deal with some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms at times Friday into Saturday. And yes, we can spot some even in the morning as well as the overnight hours. A lot of it likely be falling from the afternoon through the evening into that early part of these nights. Is when we'll notice likely a lot of those showers and thunderstorms. Coverage then does look to drop off a bit more Sunday, but early next week is when we'll really start to notice those rain chances further drop off. So that being said, with our highest rain chances occurring Friday and Saturday, also then that coincides when we'll deal with that highest potential for some heavy rain or excessive rainfall. Now, we're still under that marginal risk, and it is for Friday and Saturday. It does not carry over into Sunday as the coverage will thankfully start to drop off. But Friday and Saturday especially is our 2 days we're watching for that potential for heavy rain or excessive rainfall. Again, under that marginal risk. And this is a product issued by the Weather Prediction Center. I mean, we're under that level 1 for excessive rainfall being marginal. We're talking about more of an isolated or localized potential to deal with flash flooding, where, primarily affecting places that can experience rapid runoff. And, under that level 1 and marginal, we just can't quite roll it out because we're dealing with those torrential downpours that will be in place for Friday and Saturday. And even within showers, some heavy downpours. So we can get into a situation where even outside of some thunderstorms, if we're getting some heavy showers lingering over a location long enough that they're producing heavy enough rain that even some showers, heavy showers, can bring some flooding concerns. So that's likely the scenario. And a lot of moisture will be present in the atmosphere. We're going to feel it just unbearably humid Friday through the weekend. But our days to really watch likely will be Friday and Saturday. I wouldn't say the risk is exactly zero into Sunday, but it will likely lower as we start to see the coverage of those showers and thunderstorms diminish some, I think, going into the latter part of the weekend. But Friday and Saturday do look to be the 2 days with emphasis on to watch for that potential to deal with some localized flash flooding. And yes, I think there can be some potential there for some strong to severe thunderstorms as well. Something else to watch. Same story with that risk as well. It'll likely stay more isolated if we do see that come to fruition going into the weekend. But here near term tomorrow, we don't have to deal with any of that. Lots of sunshine in place. Barely a cloud in sight, looking similar with respect to today, just hot and humid. Highs will be near 90. When you factor in that humidity, it'll be around the mid 90s, so how hot it will feel tomorrow afternoon. By Friday into Saturday, temperatures will drop some with the additional cloud cover and the rain in place, but it's unbearably humid. So that being said, when you factor in unbearably humid conditions with highs mid-upper 80s, it's still going to feel like it's in the 90s. So it's still feeling just hot and humid even as we go through the weekend. Temperatures pick up. It's still rather humid going through the first half of next week. So that being said, it'll feel into the 90s, even around the mid 90s, quite possibly into that first half of next week. And then, Rachel, thankfully, later next week, it does look to drop with that humidity. Thankfully, there is some relief in sight. Thankfully,
it is. It's just a little too far out for our comfort.
Yeah,
but we're expecting to see some nice weather next week too. All the rain's clearing out by Sunday, so we'll be starting off the first couple of days of August on a pleasant note. especially with those highs in the lower 80s.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think you're right. Yeah, it's we don't like to see what's coming our way near
No.
term. That's for sure. It's just like, oh, not again, right? Back to just unbearably humid conditions. But thank goodness we don't look to repeat this for another month in a row. What we just came off of. What a historic stretch of just those warm nights and just in general humid conditions that we had here into the Ohio Valley. Something that was a first, again, for the Wheeling area. And it's been over 100 years since Pittsburgh has seen something of that nature. So it's been a long time, for us, nothing that we have seen in our lifetime, if you look at it that way. Us is saying summer barbecue for you both. Ever had fire swoosh close to your face when lighting your grill? Oh, that's a scary situation, Austin. I've been having a few too many encounters with it. Well, stay safe there, Austin. That's not good. Stay safe there with your summer barbecue in lighting your a fire there. Yeah, stay safe. That's a scary situation to have that fire blow up near your face when you're lighting it. That's for sure. Joe, good evening. Hope your day was good. It was good, Joe. Thank you for tuning in. Thank all of you for tuning into this edition of Nate at 8. Appreciate it as always. Again, we soak up some more sunshine ahead for tomorrow before the story begins to change as we get into the weekend. But one more day. Good day for being by the pool, really.
Yeah.
And jump in and
It's
cool
like
off.
the perfect pool day, but you'll definitely need that umbrella for the weekend. So keep it near you in the next couple of days.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. You can catch us coming up News 9 at 10 on Fox 9. News 9 tonight at 11 for the latest, as always, for that next edition of Nate at 8 tomorrow evening as well. Until then, have a wonderful night. We'll see you on the next edition of Nate at 8.